The automotive world can come in some very interesting ways. And in terms of the automotive world, a lot of things are happening constantly. And even for the sheets petrol heads out there who know absolutely loads, there's still loads to search up about cars. I have gone and searched up 10 very, very interesting facts that are about the automotive world petrolheads might not even know about. So here are 10 facts that even the most intelligent people might not even know about. With the first one, Audi making a diesel-powered R8. About 10 years ago, when diesel power was basically the lord of bringing money in, because diesel powered cars at that time you could get really cheap, and diesel was very useful for in the cases of if you wanted to travel far. So at that time, Audi thought about making their first proper built supercar, that being the R8. And the very first concept that came out, which was in 2004, was apparently a diesel powered car. And it was, and if this was to actually happen, it would have been one of the first ever diesel powered supercars of all time. That never really caught plan, as in 2007 Audi came up with the R8 V8, which has the same 4.2 litre V8 as from the RS4 of its time. The idea of using a diesel powered engine inside an R8 for Audi was just an idea because at the time diesel was really cheap, and it was a massive success in the car fuel industry, and also at that time the Audi R8 24-hour endurance cars were also being powered by diesel, because of the cars were going to be running for a very long time. So that's why they used diesel. Thankfully though, years later, diesel became a huge problem towards nature and the environment. So that was completely scrapped. And in most people's eyes, I think we would have been quite happy that they didn't make a diesel-powered R8. Number 2, the McLaren F1 engines test car. This is a very interesting one because us petrolheads know exactly what a McLaren F1 is. It is one of the rarest and most amazing cars ever to exist. The engine bay is made of 24 karat gold. It's got 3 seats. You sit in the centre. It's got a manual gearbox. And for investment reasons, it holds a lot of value. A ton of it. McLaren teamed up with a BMW to actually make an engine for their car, which was a 6-litre naturally aspirated V12. Pushing 620 horsepower. This, however, was tested before the engine went in the F1. It was tested in a BMW M5 Touring. They used a BMW M5 Touring as a test model just for the car's engine. So basically they put the engine in the back of it because that's where it was going to go in the F1. this one-off M5 touring does still exist. However, it is locked away in a B&W's vault, and it probably will never be shown ever again. Which leads us on to number 3, which is a Ford Fiesta 0 to 60 app. Before I get into this, I don't mean it's an app to test your knowledge to 60 of your Ford Fiesta. No. Essentially, a tuning company called Tune have launched this new app, which you can connect to your Fiesta by Bluetooth, and if you press what on the app calls a performance mode button, it increases your car by 25 horsepower and 36 foot-pounds of torque. Just by using an app. No official tuning or any engine upgrades or anything. Number 4, John DeLorean was actually responsible for a muscle car error. Now, I know some American muscle enthusiasts, like some I know, might actually know this, but for those who don't, John DeLorean was actually, he was the youngest person ever to be ahead of General Motors. And in that time, General Motors was actually having a ban for Pontiac race cars because at the time they were crashing way too many times and they were not making a profit from the races. So basically, John thought of this genius idea of making a car called the Pontiac GTO, which essentially was a big car with a power of the race cars that you could use on the streets. And this was the absolute start of a muscle car. Interesting fact number 5. There was once a Porsche 911 Spider back in the 1960s. The first proper Porsche 911 convertible came in the early 1980s. But I can tell you that that's not exactly true. It was the first production model, but it wasn't the exact first Porsche 911 convertible ever to exist. A Porsche dealer owner back in California in 1966 wanted to aim Porsche 911s to his own audience, who were based in California. That meant basically not having a roof, because California is usually warm and it's mostly full of nice weather, so that's why he wanted that. So basically, he went over to a coach building company called Tony, who we know is been famous for designing cars like the Lancia Stratos. And basically, he told them to get a Porsche 911 chassis and make it into a convertible. And it actually ended up being a bit more than that, because since Bertoni was Italian, it had a bit of that Italian flair. So this Porsche 911 was given inspiration from the Fiat 850 Spider as well. Unfortunately, this car isn't really that well known, and just factor number 6 is the Bugatti Veyron's engine capabilities. We all know that the infamous Bugatti Veyron is very well known for being the fastest production car ever to exist, till about 2 years later when Koenigsegg basically beat it. It was the fastest production car for more than a decade actually, and it got so much fame. Anyone who had one constantly looking at it, taking photos. It was used in some famous rap songs. If you had a Veyron, you were classed as being on the top of the world, kind of. And it started off with only 1,000 horsepower, and then the SS versions came with 1,200 horsepower, and it's that same engine has now come in their newest model, which is called a Shalom, which is pushing 1,500 horsepower. But I can tell you that actually, all of this time, this engine has actually been capable of pushing 3,000 horsepower. At this time, because of regulations, Bugatti had to detune the engine for safety reasons. But because we know they can push 3,000 horsepower, who knows? Maybe the last ever petrol-powered car to actually come out of the French doors of Bugatti might get close to 3,000 horsepower, and it might tackle the likes of a Veyron 16 if that ever comes on as being. Number 7 is based on the weirdest racing car sponsorships ever to be on cars. In racing, if you don't really have any sponsorships on your cars, there's not really going to worry that you're going to make any profit out of racing your car and try to make your car as better as possible. This can come in terms of NASCAR, Formula 1, drifting, all types. However, in the past there have been some very weird ones. There's been the likes of sponsorships of Paris Hilton, Star Wars, which was in Formula 1, not too recently actually, and Kim Kardashian as well, which apparently to have that on their NASCAR cars, which it was on, the car had to be pink, and the racing suit that a driver Mike Bliss had to drive around in also had to be pink. Number 8 is that basically McLaren did make a one-off car based on the MB4-C. Sorry,
the MB4-C.
It was called the X1. It was just a one-off, re-engineered, redesigned version of an MB4-C, and if there's only one in the world, it was made only for just one mystery buyer who we still don't know who he is or whether. The buyer bought it in 2012 and it was made by 2015. A few people actually did see it on the M25 just casually driving around, and that was probably the last time we ever saw it. Fact number 9. The Bugatti Type 57 Atlantic. People know a lot about these things. These things are ridiculously expensive in value. Very, very close in value to the Ferrari 250 GTOs. They only made 4 of these cars. The 4th one, the black one. There was one in black, which at the time was owned by the son of Hector Bugatti at the time, and his name was John Bugatti. Essentially what happened with this car was, at the start of World War II, he basically put his own pride and joy on a train to be sent over to Belgium where he would be safe from any danger. But something happened on the way. Basically, the car never actually made it there, and the twin didn't actually make it in the Belgian either. And even to this day, this was in 1939 or 1940, and yet still no one knows what the hell happened to the car. No one knows where the train went. We don't know anything about it. Whoever who does find it will be rewarded $100 million, which then therefore makes the Type 57 Atlantic the most valuable car in the history of the world. Get searching. And that leads us on to fact number 10. Probably one of the least interesting of the 10, but it will actually inform you. Because we all know a lot about his Veyron 16. Unfortunately, from the sounds of it, it's not going to be road legal, and it's probably never going to be a real car. So, yeah, sad face. Anyway, I'd like to thank you very much for watching this video. If you did, smash that like button. If you do like seeing more videos like these, please do me a favour and subscribe to our channel. It's always very helpful, especially in these days of YouTube. I'd like to thank you very much for watching, and hoping this actually got you very interested into the automotive world, and I'll see you in the next video. See you later, guys.